Welcome back, everyone, to Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Harry. I'm joined by John tonight. Peterborough United have not played a men's game since February after the Port Vale game was postponed because they made it through in the FA Cup. And we finally have some football to preview. They're playing Leyton Orient tomorrow. But as I say, I'm joined by John. How are you tonight, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. It feels like a long time since I last watched the Peterborough game, so I am quite looking forward to it, although I'm not that hopeful of a great or inspiring display, but you never know.
You never know, indeed. It wasn't that inspiring away at Cobblers in our last game. We were both there. I mean, reflecting on it now 2 weeks later, I mean, at least we're not in a relegation scrap like Leyton Orient are, right? Maybe we'll reflect on it as being a decent point.
We're not yet, Harry. I'm not sat. I don't think we're going down, and I keep saying this. I still think it's a long shot. I'm still not sat that comfortably, if I'm being quite honest. We should have enough points on the board. We should be able to get wins. But the longer this injury list goes on and the longer we take getting these players back that we need back, and it is almost all our good players are now on the sidelines, the more I'm like, this team has no business playing League One football at the minute. So I'm really hoping we can claw together a few wins and we can all just relax. I don't think we're going to be pushing the top six, and I still don't think we're going down. But I would like a couple more wins until I'm fully relaxed and thinking, let's play the kids for next season.
I mean, I reckon 3 more wins. That puts us on 55 points. So 3 wins in 11, you're hoping that's enough. But you alluded to the injuries there with one bit of positive news that we've got Harley Mills back at the same time. Now Harry Leonard's going to be out. Yeah. It's rough reading that preview report. I put it at maybe 8 players if you want to include like Adebisi. You know, no Lees, no Woods, no Hughes, obviously. Now no Donne. Harley Mills and Jacob Mendy back though, which is good. But you know, it's been a torrid season for the injuries, hasn't it?
Utterly horrendous. And just the amount of them coming back and now picking up another knock. Like Sam Hughes is, I think, done something again and had a setback. Ben Woods has had a setback. And every time you just think there's a silver lining, it's like, what more can go wrong? We're still going to have to play Kioso at centre half, I think. I can't see any other options there tomorrow, really. So it's going to be Dave and Kioso. And as much as I'm delighted to have Harley Mills back, really, Carl Johnson's not been that much of an issue at left back. I think he's been okay there. So it's not like, oh, we're screaming out that Mills is an upgrade, but it's not like that's going to be a difference maker, I don't think, between a good performance and a bad performance. We are stumbling over the line, I think, is probably an apt description. It doesn't feel like we're finishing the season particularly strongly.
Yeah, stumbling over the line, limping over the line, getting injections to try and somehow crawl over the line. It's pretty apt. I think, shall we get our first guest up? We've got Sean from the Posh side of things tonight. We're going with Posh fan first because Sean probably can only be with us till the next few minutes or so. But Sean, your debut on Countdown to Kickoff. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you for coming on. I only got in touch with you today, so appreciate you.
Lucky that I was free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've just talked a little bit about the injuries.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the state of the treatment room? And also, John's raised a bit of an interesting point. What are you doing with the fact that CJ's been actually all right in this period, but now we've got Harley Mills back? Are you keeping CJ on the field for the game tomorrow?
I think he's been all right for probably the majority of the time he's played left back, but I'd probably disagree. In the last 5 games, I think he's fallen short quite a lot, especially if you think about Exeter and the Wareham hat-trick. I think a lot of it came down his side of the field. So I'd be, if Mills or Mendy are fit to start, I'd be starting them and then bringing CJ off the bench in the 50th, 60th minute to try and see the game out, hopefully. I think the last few games he's looked a little bit like he needs a rest, but we haven't had an option to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree, to be fair. I think, I think you've summed it up well there, that Johnson did start very well there. But I don't necessarily think he's the biggest of our problems, is kind of my point.
No, it's not.
Is Mendy even an upgrade from what we've seen? I think another selection dilemma, Sean, I'd like you to solve is, who do we play up front? I think they were going into it, everyone was kind of going, well, Garbutt will be back, so we'll play him at 10 and Jimmy J up front. But it looks like Garbutt's out injured now, so you assume Jimmy J will continue in attacking midfield unless you're playing Psychic there. So who are you going with? Pemi, Kamara, other?
With the fact that Leyton Orient tend to play a back five, I don't think playing Jimmy J Morgan against 3 centre halves is going to go down particularly well. So I'd probably start Pemi Aderoju. I know he's not really had a chance. No one knows if he's any good, but I'd probably go with him over Kamara or Jimmy J, just based on the fact that Leyton Orient are going to play with 3 big claggers at the back. That we would not. I don't think either of Kamara or Jimmy J would get much joy out of that.
And are you like me? Are you still a little bit worried about relegation, or are you completely, we're not going down, we'll be all right?
Unless we proceed to lose both tomorrow and on Tuesday against Rotherham, I'm pretty okay. I think we'll be fine. If we lose to both of those two, then I think that drags us right back into it. But I don't see us losing to both of them. I mean, unfortunately, both the games against Orient this season have been really bad from a Peterborough perspective. If you look at the trophy game earlier this season, where we lost to 10 men at home, 3-1 to them. And then in the Boxing Day game, we fluked to win in the last minute with Declan Frith. You can't really say many times that you'd see Declan Frith win the game with a header in the last minute. So I think we'll probably get more joy out of Rotherham on Tuesday at home. I think we'll definitely still be better at home, but we just need to try and make sure we don't lose any of our away games as much as we can, even if we're just getting a point and just getting out of there like we did at Cobblers.
Yeah, and you know what? Even if we do end up losing the next few games, as I said at the very beginning, we probably only need 3 wins, and we have a lot of injuries at the moment. I'd like to think a month from now, with the squad a little bit better, even if we only pick up a point or 2 in the next 3 or 4 games, I think we'll be just fine. You mentioned Frith there, because of course he did score that last minute header against Leyton Orient. I found it a difficult one with the wingers this season, because it's just been Lisby accepted, who I think clearly has been consistently good and has got better as the season's gone on. It's been hard between Hayes and Frith to really decide who's better suited for that other wing. Who would you be going for on that side?
Toss a coin. I think they're both basically the same level of player. One will go down the wing and cross it. One will go inside and try and shoot. But ultimately, both of them are missing the end product, really. So I'd probably start Hayes, just because Frith has been pretty poor the last few games. But it doesn't really bother me whichever one starts. As soon as Garbutt's fit, both of them are getting dropped, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Sean, for sure. Garbutt, the sooner Garbutt is back, the better. I'm intrigued then. Are you sticking with the same centre-back pairing? We talked about this, was it on air or off air? I can't even remember now. But are you going with Kioso and Dave, or is there any other options? Are you looking at Nevitt, Mendonca?
I'm going Mendonca and Dave, and going Kioso back to right back.
Oh, okay.
I think the last few games JD's been a bit shaky for my personal opinion, and I do really rate JD, but I think on the road you need someone who's probably a bit better switched on defensively, and I do think Kioso is the slightly better defender out of the two of them. That might be hot take to say, but I think he's shown sometimes being vulnerable at the back post, especially when the ball's getting put in the air, which Don Ballard will be attacking crosses. So yeah, I'd probably just edge it to that. And I thought Mendonca was superb when we played him at Stevenage.
That's a good point on Mendonca. And you'd like to think a player who's trying to prove himself as much as Mendonca is will take a game like this by the scruff of its neck. But yeah, I think Dornelli's been all right. It's the hardest call for me between Dornelli, Kioso, and CJ out on that right side. If you do take Kioso out the middle, But yeah, I think it'll be interesting because Leyton Orient play fairly narrow with those front three players, and the wing backs, how if they're going to get up the very edges and take crosses in. Honestly, I think stopping crosses is one of Kyoso's things. One of the things he struggles with most. He's better with tracking runners as they're trying to run down the wing. And we'll see if the wing backs do that. I'm not sure, but yeah, fair enough. I can see the logic. Have you been to Leyton Orient before? I know you're not going to be there tomorrow.
No,
you've got nice travels ahead.
Yes. No, I was looking to go last season, and frankly, the reason I didn't go is I looked at the ticket price, and I think they were charging about 30 quid or something. And bear in mind, you've also got paid to get into London. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that one. So yeah, I passed it on that occasion, and this time it just fell at a kind of bad date. But it's one of those I usually would do because London's quite an easy place to get to from Peterborough or from King's Lynn, where I am now. So it's just never been, but it's not like I wouldn't go.
Well, it's a away day I enjoy, except for the ticket price, because I completely agree. 30 quid is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's literally as much as you play for as much as you pay for a Premier League away game, because it's capped at 30. But yeah, and also, as you say about the London prices for getting in, AFC Wimbledon the weekend after, there's going to be a few Oyster card top-ups needed for the Posh fans. All right. I mean, you got any predictions for us, Sean, for the game? You know the drill, score and a first goal scorer, if you've got one for Posh.
I usually would say loads of goals, but we didn't look like we were going to score loads of goals against Cobblers, did we? With Leonard being out as well, I don't really know where the first goal is going to come from. It will probably have to be Kyle Lisby, the first goal scorer, if we are going to score. And I'd probably go 2-1 Posh, but that is probably me being a bit optimistic, if I'm being all honesty. I don't see us keep realistically keeping them down to 1 goal with Don Ballard up front.
I'm jumping the gun here because we do our predictions at the end of the host, but I've gone for exactly the same, Sean. I've gone for 2-1 Posh with Lisby first. So hopefully we're both right, although I'm going to be honest, I rarely am. So we'll see. John, you got any last questions for Sean before we let him go?
Only about Budapest, really. Sean's he's off to Budapest tomorrow, so very exciting. What time's your flight, Sean? And what's the itinerary?
Sunday evening, so 7:30 from Stansted Airport. The itinerary is just to see as much as we can. I don't look after the itinerary. My partner does. I just turn up and go. She's the one that finds out everything and where we need to go, what we need to see, and I'm just like, yeah, happy days. I'll be along for the ride.
Standard bloke on holiday, I think that, mate.
Yeah.
You're in good company here, Sean. I think, anyway. All right. Thank you very much for coming on. Much appreciated.
No worries at all.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you again on Countdown to Kickoff.
Fingers crossed, maybe. Cheers. Take care, gents.
Bye. Now, before we came live, I was struggling a lot with lag, and I'm going to take the opportunity to ask John, how have I been so far? Have I been up to speed, or has it been like long delays while I've been talking?
You've been a little bit like George Nevitt. You've been just a couple of seconds behind the play, but you know, you can get away with it sometimes, and I think you're getting away with it tonight.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully not impacting the viewing experience for our watchers too much, or our listeners tomorrow if anyone does the audio. But yeah, it's interesting. It is actually quite an interesting question when you've got such a depth of injuries or injury problems. Thinking about these different choices on the field, I didn't really get what your answer was about what are you going to do up top tomorrow with no Leonard. Are you going with Pemi?
Yeah, I think I'm going with Pemi by virtue of the fact that I've just seen a bit more of Pemi than Kamara. I don't think anyone can say for certain who the better striker is, if I'm honest, because we just haven't seen enough of them. But it felt like Pemi was ahead of him, and when he has got in the first team, I think he's looked okay. I don't think he's done himself any harm with his performances. He looks a big physical threat and seems to have a bit of ability. So let's give him a go and see how he gets on. We won't know if he's going to sink or swim until we give him a chance to swim. So there's no better chance than now because we don't really have any other options.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think what we want to see from Pemi, because we've had a couple of moments of him blasting the ball when he could have had a more of a deft touch for shooting. I mean, like a couple of his finishes have been swinging his leg as hard as he can at it, and hopefully he gets an opportunity where he can relax a little bit. There was a goal actually I'm thinking about. The goal that he did score was an example of that, where he took a little moment and actually got it into the corner. I'm now forgetting who it was against.
Wigan.
But Wigan, thank you. Let's hope he can find that again tomorrow, because he's clearly got it in his locker. And I agree on the physical presence thing. What would be very interesting, John, is if David Kamara's fit, right? Like, we haven't heard any injury issues with him.
I assume so.
If Pemi and Kamara start, given how good both of them are in the air, occupying two of the three Leyton Orient centre backs, that could create some interesting opportunities for our wingers, Lisby and hopefully Hayes. I love a Hayes right wing start. I think he'd be well suited to this game with two strikers up top. I'm sure you disagree.
It's very attacking, and I'm not sure I'd be dropping Jimmy J Morgan for Kamara at this point. So, yeah, I don't think I agree with that, but I can't see it, Harry.
It's a good point. I of course wouldn't drop Jimmy J either. He proved against Cobblers that he can do very little in a game and then still score, which is what you want out of your attacking players, isn't it? So, and he's obviously been far better than he was against Cobblers for most of the season. All right, should we get our Leyton Orient fans on? We've got two coming on at the same time. So we have. I'm going to introduce one after the other. So first, let's have Heavy D. I'm going with that as your name, or Mr. D, perhaps. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for coming on. And we also have Cam. Also, how are you doing, Cam?
Very well, very well. That I've had a bit less Orient to watch of late. I think that would have put me through an absolute, stress ball. But no, I'm doing very well, and hopefully Tuesday's result is a sign of things to come, and hopefully we'll be on the up.
Yeah, and Cam, I'll come to you first actually on this. I mean, it must be jarring having gone from playoff final to now being a point off the relegation zone. Was there any sense in the summer that it was going to be a much tougher season?
I think 100%. I think the amount of loan players we had and high quality players we had that obviously went on to, championship clubs. We lost the likes of Donnelly, Kelman, Galbraith. They are three players who almost single-handedly hoisted us into the playoffs last season. I think there was a positive sign with the recruitment. I think the likes of El Mazzuni coming back to the club, Josh Karoma, that sort of nostalgic signing that we made. And I think we always knew it wasn't going to be the same as last season for just the sort of quality we lost. But we thought there was quality gained, and I don't think that us Orient fans expected it to be as bad as it is at the moment.
Yeah, you've touched on it a bit, Cam. I guess I'll ask Heavy D this question, but where has it gone wrong for you boys? Like, there's obviously something not clicking. So what are the problems?
Personally, I think it's just we, after the summer, as Cameron said, we lost quite a lot of good players and very high caliber of player. And what we've done is we went into the market. We got good midfielders and forwards in Connolly, El Mazzuni, Ballard. We've got Theo Archibald now back from injury. But the problem is we went in with the same defence that we had. And unfortunately, some of those defenders, 6 months later on, either weren't doing what the manager wanted them to do, or their performances just weren't able to recapture from the previous season. So I think that's the defensive unit was a massive problem for us, and the goalkeeping as well. We had Josh Keane. We've gone through a couple of good seasons where we went from Vigouroux to Salisbury on loan all season, playing 40-odd games, to Josh Keane playing 40-odd games, and then we went into this season where we just didn't really have a good lone goalkeeper. Like, we had Tommy Simpkin in from Stoke. It seemed okay at the start, and then he got lobbed at Mansfield, and then obviously since then it's just been a downward spiral. Keeper coming in, keeper coming out, and it's just we're now at the stage where I think we've got 5 goalkeepers on the books, and 3 of them are injured.
Sounds very much like Posh's centre back problems at the minute. That Cam, one for you next. Obviously, it's been a bit of a it's been a big downfall, as you guys have said. Is there any pressure on the manager? Is he under pressure, or are you guys happy with him?
I think the story of our season so far has been very much 1 step forward, 3 steps back. I think more the last couple of months he's had his job on the line, but then he'll sort of pick up a result to save his job. Like, we were under a lot of pressure going into Tuesday, having lost to Bradford and then Barnsley the week before. There has been pressure, but once again, I think it's very divided by Orient fans. He's, almost entering the club legend status. So do I think it would be right to sack him, if these losses keep coming and eventually we're floating around the relegation zone? Personally, I think we've left it too late to do anything now. I feel like the last thing we need to do is get rid of the manager. We've already got rid of our director of football and head coach. So I don't think it's the right thing to do now, but I do think that many times this season, Tuesday night being another example, we've sort of done enough just to keep him in the loop.
Yeah, just to go on from what Cameron said there as well, what I'd say is that I think some of the fan base, especially since the new year, have been calling for him to go and have been murmuring about it's time for you to pack up and go. But he's just very, very lucky that he's got a great relationship with the board, and the board have come out from probably the back end of last year and have ramped it up again the start of this year. And I said, no, he's our man. We're keeping him. We're fully behind him. But I think that's because the board also know that they didn't give him what he needed in the summer, that they under-resourced him in the summer. And that was just because of the budget.
And so is it an intentional change of strategy to not go back to having all the loan play? Like those loan players from Spurs were great, but you haven't been able to tap into that as effectively this time. Was that still budget constraints?
I don't know if it's budget constraints. I just think it's like, I think for me, the bit that's annoyed me with Spurs is like you see George Abbott was out on loan at a club in the start at the first part of the season. Then this second half of the season, he's gone on loan to Mansfield, and I'm like, when you record him and you knew he was going out on loan, we had loan spaces because we'd lost loan players. So you just think to yourself, could we have not taken George Abbott on loan, especially the fact that we'd lost El Mazzuni by then, so we could have done with another body in midfield. And I think I'm a little bit, as I said, I'm a bit burnt with loan signings, because I think that some of the clubs, especially QPR don't really want another loan signing from them, because they've really, really, in my book, taken the mickey out of us in the last 18 months.
Yeah, okay, it's interesting. I mean, let's come back to the actual the game at hand. So, Cam, one bright spot's clearly been Don Ballard, top scorer in the league, 18 goals. I noticed as well that Ollie O'Neill's got 12 goal contributions, although in the sort of lobby before this, you were saying that he's been okay. What can we expect from a Leyton Orient that's on form tomorrow?
Well, you look at Ballard's goals. When was the last time a team finished this or was this low down in the table but had the top scorer in the division? I think without him, we'd be fighting Port Vale for the wooden spoon of League One. But that's sort of been the only thing to really, smile about this season with us. I think always knowing that you've got someone who can pull you out of games. When we're down, he can get an equaliser. When you're level, we can go grab a winner. Just having that one player on the pitch is all you need to sort of give you a bit of hope going into every game. And like I said, without him, who knows where we'd be. I think we could be like Sheffield Wednesday and already relegated. O'Neill is another one. I think he's okay. I feel like we saw his best games at the start of last season, end of the season before. But I think on his day, good player going forward. I think also the signing we made in January a favour for Wimney on loan from Stoke. I think he's shown positive sparks so far. I feel like when we're on it, we can score past teams and we can beat teams. But I think the table says it all. Worst defence in the league, joint at the moment. I think 59 we've conceded in the league. I just think it could be a high scoring affair tomorrow. Personally, that's my opinion.
Is there anyone in Posh's lineup that you two are particularly worried about, or who's caught your eye so far this season?
I love Carol Lisby. Obviously, we used to have his dad at Orient, so the Lisby boys will always be looked upon by Orient fans as oh, they Nick's super kid. But yeah, whenever I've seen him play, he looks really good. I'm just shocked he hasn't scored more goals because he looks like a bit of a live wire when I've seen him.
Yeah, he has honestly had a great first season at the club, first season in football. And you say you're surprised he hasn't scored more goals. I think he's in double figures now, and he plays in the wing for us. So yeah, he's been a very good return. You're lucky we don't have Harry Leonard though. Cam, is there anything you know about Posh that you're worried about, or are you just so confident that you'll beat us?
Well, my good friend Big Tobber, he's very keen on Leonard, but obviously out tomorrow, which I think is a big thing for us. Obviously, just that one less threat for our, pretty shambolic defence to deal with. Yeah, I'd go with him. Jimmy J Morgan as well. He was singing his praises upon his signing, and then obviously Declan Frith scoring against us in the 94th minute last time out. That was a bad day on Boxing Day when I sat there watching it with the family, and it was head in hands at the dinner table after that.
It was unexpected, right? I mean, that game, did we deserve to win? Probably not. But hey, look, you can make those chances count, right? Declan Frith's been mixed since. Like he's got some great dribbling ability, but it's just that end product that we desperately want to see from him, and some of his decision making in sort of the open field where he's got to choose between passing or shooting or dribbling often just makes the wrong decision. Unlike Lisby, who is actually, given it's his first season in league football, as John said, so disciplined, like always making the right decision about whether to take on the man or to pass it back to the edge of the box. So yeah, I agree. Lisby's going to be a real threat tomorrow. Jeds, we'll ask you a broader question. From our YouTube section, we've had a comment in from Ed. Can you tell us, please, maybe I'll ask Heavy D first, then Cam, you can either agree or disagree, the Leyton Orient biggest London derby?
I think recently it's been Cheltenham because they're the ones we've sort of played. Obviously, we've got AFC Wimbledon midweek coming up. I think if we were in the same division, like fantasy-wise, if we were in the same division, it'd be West Ham. Like that would be. But then probably some of our supporters wouldn't know which chicks it's going to because some of our supporters support both. So. But yeah, I think that would be West Ham if it was fantasy. But yeah, in the league, it'd be Cheltenham.
Yeah, I feel like Charlton, because of last season, and I think we played them obviously in the Virtue Trophy, played them twice in the league. They beat us both times in late fashion, and then obviously the playoff final. I do think obviously it's felt a bit forced on like the social media side of things. And then West Ham, we haven't played them in my lifetime, so I think we really lack a proper derby. That I think we're one of those clubs that just doesn't really have a main rival. Obviously, if you look on Wikipedia, it's Southend and Dagenham. Haven't played Southend for a long time. Dagenham are Dagenham. Can we constitute them as rivals? Probably not. I think we lack a proper London derby, but I think just because of recency, I think Charlton is our main one.
I can tell you the Southend derbies they're good fun.
How was that playoff final against Charlton? Heartbreaking?
Can I no comment?
Look, we sat through a 4-0 lead to a defeat, so nothing beats us. So we'd love to hear about it.
Do you know what? For me, Wembley is like yeah, because I also support Arsenal as well. So for me, I've got so many happy memories with Arsenal at Wembley, but then my Leyton Orient memories at Wembley are just horrible. So I've always said I just don't want to go. Like if we go up to the Championship, I want to go through the automatic. I don't want to have to go through the playoff games. I don't want to go back to Wembley or Orient. I've just got bad memories of Orient at Wembley. It's like, but yes, so it's a nice stadium, but yeah, for Orient, I don't have any good memories at Wembley.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
I'm currently studying. Sorry, Harry. I'm currently studying at a football university and living in Wembley at the moment, a minute from the stadium, stone's throw. And every time I walk past, I get the PTSD. I just remember that day in May, and we were obviously there. Probably worst day of my life. Genuinely, that's probably it. I've never been so upset after a football match. But I do feel like when you take a look at the bigger picture of that season, it was a bit of a free hit. No one really expected us to be in the playoffs. We was 21st in December, so an unreal run into the playoffs that season. But like Heavy D said, I've seen Orient at Wembley 3 times, and we've lost all 3. It's just not. Some teams don't have a good record at Wembley, and we are one of them.
The funny bit about that day was,
and some teams do.
Yeah, as you guys well know. What I'd say about that day is that was the only time I've been to Wembley of Orient where I actually went into it thinking, yeah, we've got this. This is ours. Like, we're going to the Championship. And it's like, I remembered when, with the Rotherham game, when my mum was like, she don't support Orient, but she was like, oh, you're in the Championship. I was like, this is Orient. We don't do anything easy. So, yeah, I really did think we had it against Charlton, but Nathan Jones is just a tactician at the end of the day.
Well, before I ask for your predictions for the game tomorrow, I'll just cast your mind back to a slightly happier playoff memory, because you've beaten Posh in the playoffs before, haven't you? In the semi-finals in, I think it was 2014, I want to say, 2013-14. Either of you recall that? Were you there for that? I distinctly remember Craig Alcock having the chance to equalise 2-2 at the last minute and hitting it with his knee over the bar, and that was it. But were either of you there that day? Any fond memories? I know you went on to lose the playoff final, but anything to reflect on that day?
I was there. I don't know about you, Cam. I was there. Go on, Cam.
I was 7 years old. Must have been 8 years old. However old I was, I weren't there. I remember really, really clearly. Obviously, must have been a school night, so I was, getting a late night to watch the Orient on the telly. I was buzzing, and then I remember when we scored the first, I was just like scared of my dad jumping around the living room and going absolutely ballistic. I weren't cut out for it. So I went up to bed to watch it on my iPad. And when the second goal went in, I ran down the stairs, celebrating my dad. Then that was probably like the real sliding doors moment for me, being an Orient fan. I was like, this is when I'm going to sort of really commit to it from a young age as well. And then, obviously you scored, and then I thought, surely not. And then that chance I got spooned over the bar. But then after that, pure delight.
Yeah, that was a painful one. Honestly, I think we were unbeaten in the playoffs until that very day where you knocked us out. Dean Cox, I remember Dean Cox being a quality for you boys back in those days.
That's an iconic Orient goal. That's actually my top 3 of the best ever Orient goals I've ever seen, because just the importance, how he done it. I had a lot of time for Cox. He was one of my favourite players, and I remember going on the pitch afterwards, and like my mum come running on with her crutches, and we just, I just remember getting into my house about 3 o'clock in the morning, just walking down the street singing like we're going to Wembley. I don't know what the neighbours must have thought, but.
It was a painful memory for me. I remember being there and watching all you lot run on the pitch, goading us at the end. But neither teams really. We all sort of just leveled out since then. Certainly Posh, we haven't really gone up or down the leagues at all. Anyway, tomorrow, back to modern day times. We always ask our guests for a score prediction and a first scorer. So we'd love to hear from you boys who you think is going to score for you and what the score will be. Heavy D, do you want to start us?
My heart says 3-1, but I'm going to be conservative and go 2-1. And I think Don Ballard's going to get the goal. What I will say though is I've been saying it since January, so it's got to happen at some point this season. Is someone is going to get hiding at some point? I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but before the end of the season, someone is going to get hiding because we've just been playing. We've got so much attacking talent that we just haven't been like tapping into it much. So yeah, but no, 2-1, Ballard to score first.
For me, I wish I had Heavy's optimism. I think you'll beat us. I think 2-1 Posh. I think Ballard will get our goal because he's just goal machine. I just think, like I said at the start, the first thing I said when I come on here was our season's been 1 step forward, 3 steps back, and I just think we're going to struggle to hit a bit of form. I think we're just going to have to pick up wins where we can, and I just don't think tomorrow's going to be that day. So yeah, hopefully I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong, I don't want us to lose, but I don't see us winning tomorrow.
All right, gents. Thank you very much. I obviously hope you're right, Cam. We shall see. We shall see. We have so many injuries. This is your chance. This is your moment. And we're rusty. We haven't played in 2 weeks. You guys are fresh off a win 4 days ago. But yeah.
We've got our injuries as well.
Is Forrester out, or is he going to be playing? Do you know?
He's got. Richie Whelan said in the pre-match interview he's gone for a scan today. They're waiting for the result. But Sean Clare's definitely out. But what I will say is I think where your previous guest said that he thinks we're going to play with a back 5, I don't think we will play with back 5 tomorrow. I reckon we'll go back to the back 4 because Richie doesn't like playing a back 5. He's always saying he wants to play a back 4, but he's never had the personnel to do it. Well, Mr. Wellens, you have now because you've got a right back and a left back, and you've got a couple of centre backs. So, yeah, whether Forrester's in all right. Hope Forrester does play, but if not, we've got Dan Happy, got Jack Simpson that can drop into the centre back, and we've got the West Ham loanee Casey. So, some fans don't want in the squad, but yeah, I personally thought he's okay. But yeah.
All right. Okay. Interesting. I mean, we've been talking this whole time about a back 3, back 5. So it'll be very interesting if you do go back 4, which is what we will almost certainly do as well. But yeah, gents, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. Do either of you do podcasts? You got anything you want to promote while you're here?
No, put me on the spot there, but no podcast. Just love of the game.
Okay.
What I will say to people though is check out. What I will say to people that are travelling down to the Orient tomorrow is if you get down there early enough, check out the Leyton Orient Supporters Club, especially if you like an ale. They have a good selection of ales. And the Outlook podcast as well. That's our main podcast for Orient fans. Comes out on a Sunday night. That's good fun. And they talk about the game in depth, and they're pretty balanced about their views.
That's great. All right. Heavy D, Cam, thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the season, but I'm not giving you good luck for tomorrow. Cheers.
Same to you guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right. Okay. I think a couple of moments of lag clearly, John, but I think we're doing okay. Shall we get on to the next level Barbell Club Predictions League and see what the two of us and our fellow hosts have said? Obviously, I've already given away what I've gone for. Sounds like I'm in good company. Sean and Cam both think we are winning 2-1. I don't know if our backstage. Yes, thank you to our backstage magicians who just put this up on screen. So we have Ashley. In fact, no. Before we go with the list, John, do you want to say yours?
Yeah, I got 3-0 Leyton Orient. We're just playing crap at the minute, and we're playing really badly. And I don't think they're that bad a team. I know that their position in the table is not great. Yeah, without Leonard as well, I'm not confident. I'm not confident at all.
No, Leonard is definitely a complicating factor, but you know what? I'm going to stick by my guns here. But I'll run down the list now especially for any of our audio listeners who won't be able to see the screen. Ashley has also gone with Leyton Orient to win. He's gone with 3-1 to the O's with Peter Chioso scoring the only Posh goal. Charlie has matched me and Sean and Cam and gone for a 2-1 Posh win with Declan Frith getting the first goal. We would definitely like to see that. It'd be good for him to kickstart his season with an early goal against Leyton Orient. As I've said, I've gone for 2-1. I've gone with Kyrell Lisby to score first. Lods has gone for Leyton Orient 2, Posh 0, so no Posh goal scorer for him. And finally, Max is over in the corner with us confident lads who think that Peterborough United are winning. He's gone 2-0 to the Posh with Kyrell Lisby to get the first goal. Very interesting split among the hosts and no draws. I'm intrigued. I mean, I've been so wrong so consistently all season that we're probably going to end up losing, but who knows? Hey, I got 1 5-pointer when I predicted we'd lose against Bradford 2-0. So maybe I could. That wasn't that long ago. Maybe we can keep the streak up somewhat.
We'll find out, Harry. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll both be there. What time are you getting into London tomorrow?
I think I'm going to leave mine 12-ish, so should be there for 1:45.
Okay, not too much pre-match. I'm tempted to go into this. Well, can Posh fans go in the Leyton Orient supporters area? Probably not, right? Given the name, we'll see if there's any kind of fan zone we can go in. I do love a good fan zone. Right, shall we get a last-minute special guest on who has said that he's been itching to come on because he didn't think he'd be available tonight. He's actually turned out that he can join us. And I'm just waiting for his face to appear on screen. It is Ashley Wilson in the flesh. How are you?
Oh, man, I've been waiting a long time for this. I am feeling positive. I am feeling respectful. And I cannot wait for a game of football tomorrow. It feels like ages, doesn't it? You guys said it at the start. It feels like ages since we've watched this men's team play. And that Northampton game, a long time ago, disappointing. And we've seen lots of things happen in since then. But I'm excited for it. Who doesn't love a trip down to London, right? And we've got 2 of them literally back-to-back away days, Saturday and Saturday.
Yeah, and I hope you have topped up your Oyster card, Ashley. I can see you in the comments complaining about my reference to bygone swiping cards. But hey, you got to be prepared when you come for the 2 London away days in a row. You spoke about being respectful there. I take it that you think Peter Chioso is not going to be respectful of the Leyton Orient defence if he's going to be your only goal scorer for tomorrow. You definitely sticking with that prediction that he's going to be the 1 goal scorer for Posh?
Yeah, why not? Like, has he scored this season? I think he has actually, hasn't he? And I think you predicted that he was going to be the first goal scorer against Plymouth, and he got very close, didn't he? And Jimmy J. Morgan mixed up the scraps. But surely in the 2 weeks off, these lads have not just spent their time in the dining room, just bantering with each other and doing things like that. Surely they've spent some time on the training pitch working on their set pieces. So Peter Chioso to rise highest and put the ball into the back of the net from a set piece. That's how I can see it. And fingers crossed, it's at least down the end that we're attacking because we're in the side, aren't we, tomorrow? So they always do some goofy stuff at Leyton Orient where it feels like you're miles away from the pitch. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that we will score at least a goal tomorrow and give us something to celebrate.
Yeah, you'd like to think that we're all pretty hungry for a game to take place now because it's been so long. I am starving for a game and a bit of action. We've talked about strikers, Ash. Who are you going with up top? Pemi, Kamara, or somebody else? Bolu?
Well, honestly, do you know what? When they were talking about playing a back 5, or Sean was mentioning a back 5, I was like, why don't we just play 3 strikers tomorrow? And I know that seems a little bit ludicrous, but why not just play Pemi, David, and Jimmy J. Morgan all up top together, 2 wingers, and just basically play a 4-1-5? Like, let's make it exciting and just go all out attack. Like, realistically, we've said before, we know that we're not going to keep clean sheets with this defense, is it? And that's not any fault of their own. When you've got 3 right backs playing, do we know 100% that the left backs are fit? Do we want to risk them as well? Like, we've seen time and time again, haven't we? And we've seen it even this week, that we have setback after setback. The last time that Mendy played was obviously Port Vale. He came back too quick, we think. And, like we said what we said then. Do we want to rush these players back? Do we just want to give them another couple of days to Rotherham? Do we want to give them another couple of days until AFC Wimbledon? And look, we're never going to play 3 strikers, are we? Because it leaves us no options on the bench. So if you're asking me, am I going to play 1? It's Jimmy J Morgan in the 10 still, and I think that I would rather see David Kamara, because I was relatively impressed with his 12-minute shift at Northampton, and I thought that although he offered similar stuff to Pemi, I think that he does it in a different way, if that sounds right. So they bring the same thing but bring it in different ways would be the way that I see it. So, I think that they both played last Friday 45 minutes each. Maybe there's a chance that we see 45 each from them tomorrow.
It's quite interesting because with Jimmy J, with the way the team is, he's going to be one of the more experienced players. So you'd almost want him to be shouting at his teammates and, giving them some instruction tomorrow, because the starting lineup is just going to be so inexperienced. But I'm not sure I can subscribe to your 4 Archie Collins 5 attack formation. If that works, you've revolutionized football, Ash, I think.
Luke Williams says he wants to play exciting football, right? What better way to excite people than just to go and score 5 goals tomorrow and say, well, fuck you all, your predictions are bullshit. You've disrespected me. You've disrespected the team. What better way to go out and please everyone? Like what we said, what better way to earn the respect of the fan base than to go and win tomorrow and win big?
Ash, are you with me that are you sitting comfortably now? Are you like, yeah, we're staying up, or are you do you still want a couple more wins before you feel totally safe?
No, it doesn't. We're going to get a couple more wins, like across the 11. Did you say that it is that we've got left to play, Harry? We're going to get a couple of wins there, and we're not going to get dragged into it. Like when you look at Northampton 2 weeks ago, like that was basically their cup final that they had to play for. Then they've then gone and sacked their manager after that. Like they're not going to get a new manager bounce this late on. Port Vale are going to be stuffed. Rotherham are crap, and then the other team down there is Wigan potentially, and then there's a couple of Wigan, Orient, all of those. There's enough beneath us now that I think that we can say that we're relatively comfortable in this, and we just go from there basically.
And Harry asked me, what time are you getting there tomorrow, Ashley? Is an early, you are always early. What time are we saying tomorrow?
Well, look, I think I'm going to put up the comments because Smalls Posh has called me out for my secret mission. Have we sorted an away pub yet? I've got someone that needs to know where the away pub is. I can't detail who, but nobody's come back to me. I'm not a massive drinker myself, but where the hell is everyone going to drink their beers? But yes, you're right, John. I will be in the ground at 2 p.m. tomorrow, sharpish. I don't know what time I'm leaving because I'm bringing Shannon and Imogen. It's probably going to be around 10 o'clock. Park at Debden, get the tube across. What I really want to try is, I've seen it all over my TikTok, and Dell's banged on about it for years, hasn't he? I really want to try and find some pie and mash. So if anyone can point me in the nearest pie and mash shop for lunch, that would be great. I will not be touching the jelly deals, but fingers crossed we can get it there. Harry, I know that you're sitting there lovely and quietly, but you've got some important news to share, haven't you? So just wait your turn. I'm going to run through the comments now quickly. Peter Shaw is feeling very confident. Pemi's going to score 3. Jimmy J Morgan 2 and Lisby 2. So that's 7. Yeah, okay. So he said that he will spend the rest of his life in the loony bin. Some praise for you both. Kingston on tour. Good to see the 2 best hosts on tonight. You should thank Kingston on tour for that.
Although,
my mum was watching.
Can I interject? Because King's on tour, he's made a certain comment in the later comments. I've never eaten oysters in my life, King's on tour, okay? I don't know what you're referring to.
And then here we are. It's a shame Ash isn't on tonight. Well, here I am to give his expertise on how to be a great striker in a posh kit. I can say confidently that I have scored on the pitch at London Road. I may even, after this, go and find the footage and go and quote tweet it for everyone to see, just so that they can all bath in my glory, my expert movement, might I add. Then a good question for you both here. At what point do we see no value in playing Jimmy J Morgan, given that he's not going to be here next season, and much more value in giving game time to the youngsters? Your thoughts, both, please.
It's a great question. I've told you score 3 times that I'm still not fully comfortable yet. So I think 55 points. I am happy to say, Jimmy, thank you for your service. You've had a great season. I've really enjoyed watching you. I'm going to play Patrick Sykert, but not just yet. I think we need to get to 55. And then, yeah, maybe you can sit out for a bit. It's good. I hadn't even thought of it, to be honest, but you are right that there has to come a stage probably if we're going to finish mid-table where we don't play him.
Well, even though I actually do pretty much agree with you, John, I'll play devil's advocate to keep it interesting. We want to make sure that we maintain good relationships with these Premier League and upper championship clubs for their loan players. And I do actually think we've done a good job of that in the last few years. Yeah, Katongo didn't work out in his second season, but he was great in his first. We were clearly willing to play Sissoko whenever we could, even though he was obviously injured for most of it. And Jimmy J's been a revelation. I don't know how kindly Chelsea will view it if we suddenly bench him purely because we're not in a relegation or promotion scrap. I think they want to see their player developed consistently throughout a whole season, regardless of what's on the line for us. And we want to keep that signal up that we are a positive place to come send your loan players.
Just before we move on, I'd like to loop back because Ash was told that he was a great striker. So I asked Charlie and Max whether they would score a goal for Peterborough United if they played 46 games of a League One season. I would love to know if you boys think you would score a goal. Ash, are you bundling one in? By the way, it's a non-penalty goal.
I have no doubt about it. No doubt about the fact that I could get one good ball in. And I'll tell you how. I'm going to bring it up here because this is a comment that's worth pulling up, that Joe Ward has finally signed that pizza box contract, but it's not for Peterborough United. It's for Derby. He's had a contract extension, hasn't he? So fair play to him. And I think that John Eustace really does like him. But if you give me somebody similar of Joe Ward's quality, whipping balls into the box on the penalty spot for literally 90 minutes, a little bit of tracking back, I don't want to do too many hamstrings injuries. We've got issues with those at Peterborough United, so don't want to put my hamstrings at risk. But centre circle, 12-yard penalty spot, job done. Just put one on my head. I'll score. No doubt about it.
So just to confirm, you are backing yourself to outscore Abraham Otto.
Yeah, I might not be the fittest, might not be, the most physique build. Some people might say that I'm a bit of a fat shit, but I would back myself over 46 league games. I'm not going to last for 90 minutes, but I probably would get at least one goal. And even from a corner, for example, I'm going to nod one in at some point.
So I am certain that I would not score a goal in 46 games or 92 games. Try to do the maths on what 2 times 46 is. I am more or less the worst footballer that I know. I've been described by others as a lolloping doofus on the pitch. Now, with that being said, if you hadn't taken the penalty chance away from me, I do back myself to put a penalty in the corner. Whether it would have enough pace on it or not to get past Alex Bass or an equivalent keeper, I don't know. But it's a firm goose egg from me on how many goals I'd get.
Well, Harry, you say equivalent keeper to Alex Bass, but Alex Bass is the best goalkeeper in League One, so nobody is better than him. So the quality is only going to be worse, isn't it? So maybe you would give yourself a chance if you scored a penalty. What about a free kick? Let's say there's a free kick on the edge of the box, 20 yards-ish out. You don't think that you got the techers to whip one in?
No. What I can do is goal kicks. So even though I'm a centre-back, I would often take the goal kicks for the keepers because I can get it past the halfway line. So I can just send it aimlessly into the air, but any sort of accuracy or finesse required, and then it's game over, I'm afraid.
Do you know how I know you're a terrible footballer, despite never seeing you play, Harry? Because what you've just claimed is I can take goal kicks of all things that possibly do on a football pitch, and you don't even know the rules from them because you didn't know offside. So what is the point in having you on goal kicks?
Can we stop for a moment? People in the comments, are you offside from a goal kick if you're a striker or whoever past the halfway line? So it's a normal goal kick. You start past the halfway line. You are the second last man, i.e. only the goalkeeper's back. Are you offside or not? My mind was blown at Cobblers Away when I learned that you aren't offside in that situation. I am surprised more teams don't just put 3 players on the edge of the opposition box and you intentionally have someone who can just kick it 70 yards from every goal kick. But hey, there you go.
Every day is a school day, isn't it? Right. Where let's go through the. I'm keeping you waiting, Harry. I'm sorry, but I really want to talk about this. Is Steve, the Rotherham fan, getting back on for Tuesday again? We don't think that we're going to do a countdown to kickoff just because of how late getting back from London will be from everyone. We don't think we're going to have time to get an episode out on Sunday morning to then do a Monday night countdown to kickoff. So unfortunately, we don't think that we're going to have Steve on. We may try and do a little segment with him to tag on the end of the final whistle episode that goes out, but we like to keep things the same and we don't want to start introducing different things halfway through the season. I say that, you'll notice that we're in a different layout and we have been, like listeners' questions and this one today. So what do I know, hey? Friday nights, what? Does Charlie have a girlfriend? Is that like new info, Daryl? Like, do you know what we don't know? The last thing I thought that Charlie was away with his brother this weekend because his brother's playing power chair football. Was my understanding, but maybe he's lied to us. Who knows?
Is this a comunicado official on Charlie signed with a new missus? Who knew? Not us.
Not us, that's for sure. Russell Schofield tells us, Harry, that away fans are allowed in the supporters club bar, so you need to make sure that you are there early enough tomorrow to get in there for away day ratings. Because what I do know about Leyton Orient is that they offer no parking to the club at all. So no media car parking space. I don't think there's directors car parking spaces. It's literally you turn up, you get dropped off, and then off you go again. So bit of a disaster there. Now, Smalls Posh has come in again, and I'm gonna hold on you two here and hope that you know what this means, because I have no idea who Steve Exley is and why he would be at the bottom of a well. Any idea? Might need that one explaining, Smalls, because the three of us, despite Harry's hairline, he's not 60 years old. So he's clearly missing on that one. Sorry, Harry, had to take the cheap joke there.
50. I'm 50.
Yes. And then how do we predict the score? Look, Peter Shaw, for you, I will pull the website up. And I'll tell you what, actually, this is your fault, Harry, because you didn't do what I normally do and you didn't read out the description and the full website. So it's www.uptheposhcast.com/NLBC-predictions-league, Peter, for your prediction for tomorrow.
And
right.
Ashley, if I'm not mistaken, sorry, I know it's a bit of a lag, but if I'm not mistaken, you do have to sign in on our website first. So set yourself up with a little account and then you'll be able to do your prediction.
Absolutely correct, Harry. Yes, right. Harry, the big news of today. Christmas came early. Can I say that for you? Is that an accurate reflection of what happened? Because I'm sure that we discussed the 31st of March, didn't we? But today is Friday the 13th. And it wasn't bad luck. It wasn't bad news for Peterborough United by all things. Talk us through it, Harry.
Yeah, so because our financial year ends in June, you have until the end of March to get your accounts ready and publish them. And for that reason, most companies, Peterborough United included, usually they aren't visible to everybody until about 31st of March, sometimes even the beginning of April online. And as you say, Ashley, Friday 13th, it was not a horror show for Peterborough United as we published our accounts. Maybe it's because there was some good news in there. We published them a little early. Peterborough United, for the first time in many years in League One at least, turned a profit of 2.9 million, which I'm telling you, this was a complete surprise to me as somebody who cares a lot about numbers. And it's been driven by a stonking increase in revenue. And revenue at football clubs, for those who don't know, does not include player sales. So this isn't like a windfall from Mason Clark and Burrows and the rest coming through. This is real sustainable numbers like ticket sales, retail, and commercial. I'll get onto the commercial bit in a minute because that's probably where the most praise needs to be had. We've also decreased the debt a little bit. There's still a lot of debt, but we went a bit sideways the year before where we paid off some debt, but had to actually add some more. A pure 2 million decrease in debt, as we can see on the cash flow, which is, I'm telling you, a really good thing. And also, I will take the moment because I'm already the guy everyone knows as being a big fan of D-Max. Let me just tell you, the number of clubs in the EFL right now burying their heads in the sand at their debt situation. And we have an owner who is clearly taking it seriously and not just pumping every penny that we get on transfers into new players, but he's actually realizing and taking seriously the debts that we have and making sure they get paid down. We know that he set up a payment plan with the Canadians. I think it was in last year's accounts they confirmed that. According to these accounts, looks like we're completely on track with that. I can't work it out, but we might even be ahead of track on that. You'd have to ask DMAC. Maybe he'll comment on this on The Hard Truth when it comes out. Although, frankly, knowing him, he probably won't. He rarely even has conversations about these accounts. But yeah, the headline point here is less debt, profit, and just seriously, credit where credit's due. The commercial team has increased. I've just got the numbers up. I'm just going to get it up just to really illustrate the point here. For those who are interested,
Harry, can I just before you go, Harry, can I just say? So you're saying commercial tickets. So we're essentially saying people through the door and businesses wanting to give their money. So that's all good, isn't it? We see averages, attendances go up, and that's what we want, right? So credit to everybody that pulls in the right direction to get more people through the door, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Now, we all know that our ticket prices haven't gone up that much. I mean, I know there's some marginal increases in the season ticket prices, but this has to be led by the commercial team on the sponsorship side of things. It's just like there is no way we've brought in 5 million more quid of bums on seats. This has to be the work of Alex and the rest of the commercial team to maximize our opportunities of getting businesses interested in supporting Peterborough United. As I say, 9.3 million up to 14.9 in 1 year to add whatever that is, 60% to your commercial revenue is just I'll be amazed if there's another club in the EFL who have increased their commercial revenue by 60% in 1 year.
No, so we always like to give the credit where it's due, and to go back to the football tomorrow, if we go and win tomorrow, everybody's going to be happy, aren't they? It would be nice to couple up a win with what you're telling me, Harry, is good news. Obviously, we've seen that there was some negativity around it, but maybe that's possibly a misunderstanding from some of the local journalists and what turnover is. But yeah, I mean, Harry, talk to me, because up to the end of June, do we think that there's going to be next year? And I don't want to get ahead of and start talking negatively just because it's negative, but do you think there's going to be an issue with player sales potentially? Because we've only had Malik and Manny Fernandez, haven't we, in this year now?
I'm not going to get overly technical with it, but I will just say that what we should really care about as Posh fans is the cash position more than... So when you hear that Manny Fernandez has been sold for 3.5 million, that is not 3.5 million hitting the bank. And it's also not 3.5 million hitting profit. Those, because of two different reasons: the fact that clubs will pay us the money over a course of 3-4 years, and also the fact that profit rules kind of, to be fair, we will see a lot of the profit because we only bought Manny for a small amount into the academy. But my point is that we should care more about what cash actually comes in. And I think one of the comments said, if you don't mind getting it up, actually, somebody had asked, are you not worried about the cash flow? I believe it was. There's a problem with with live. There we go. Smalls, Posh. Thank you, Ashley. The cash flow looks worrying, don't you think, Harry? I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm not worried. So cash itself has moved sideways while paying 2 million of debt down. And yeah, given the commercial sales uplift, should it not be more? Well, as I say, you've got 2 million of pure cash to pay off debt, which we didn't have last year. As I say, debt moved sideways last year. And the other big factor here, 1 million extra on player wages. We've gone from 6.5 to 7.5 million on player wages. People who say that Dara's penny pinching on how much we pay players, ridiculous. 7.5 million on wages for a club of our size it's both healthy and it's also not skimping either. It's a good chunk there. So if we can keep up the commercials like this, we have room to actually increase wages a bit, probably even more, and keep paying down the debt. So this is the big question. Can we keep doing it? As always, a season in the Championship is completely transformative for Posh, and we should turn a profit in every season we're in the Championship. You go and look at the accounts from that year we went up. We turned a profit even though we were 23rd, 22nd. Someone remind me, because the prize money and TV money is just so much bigger. Turning a profit in League One is a surprise for Posh, and as I say, testament to everyone who's made it happen. We should be very happy with this. And I'm sorry, I'm not worried about the cash flow. It looks like we've spent the money sensibly.
Harry, one final question on the topic. What impact do you think that this will have on the summer coming up?
Great question. I mean, the actual amount of free cash is still small. So every month, every penny that's coming in is still spoken for. But we choose how it's spoken for in terms of the split between paying off debt and buying new players. There's room on the split between those two things. Given that we sold Manny, we should expect a decent amount of cash in for that. I would expect we have further installments on Mason Clark and Burrows. And I'm not sure what the situation would be with Poku's training fee, which I think was reported to be about 900k. But if that's something that we get within a year, that's great. We should see that in the next set of accounts. Again, though, if that's something that's split over 3-4 years, as fees often are, it's going to be relatively small. But yeah, I'll get back to that comment from Alex in a moment, which says, would that 7.5 million include winning the EFL trophy? Basically, what I'm trying to say is it should be a bigger pie now to choose between paying off debt and players. How we choose to do that, I suspect it won't be a crazy summer. I don't see us spending £1 million more than once, basically. We usually have the bandwidth to do one player over £1 million, right? And that will usually include 1 or 2 sales along the way. I wouldn't be surprised if that stays the same with another year of getting debts down to more sustainable levels, so people can stop worrying about what are big numbers, but they're numbers going in the right direction.
Harry, I can't remember whether we discussed
comment. Sorry.
Yeah, just let me ask you on that big spend of 1 million, because I can't remember whether we discussed it on a countdown to kickoff or a final whistle episode. But looking at today's numbers, if you had a choice of 3 big costing players to come in the summer or 6 lower costing players in the summer, what would be your preference where we are today with the squad, assuming that we can get everyone fit for the summer, basically?
Great question. Well, if we're assuming everyone's fit, then the answer's easy, and it is 6 depth players. We only need, in my opinion, 1 first 11 player if everyone's fit, and that's 1 more winger. Every other position on the pitch, even if we lose Archie Collins, I think we have what we need with a bit more depth. However, there's 2 key men in this equation for me, and they are Sam Hughes and they are Tom Lees. Sam Hughes, we already brought this up on a previous final whistle, didn't we? We don't know how fit Sam Hughes will be next season. He does have a lot of injuries, and we do not know when Tom Lee's legs will go. The man is 35. He could he could become unplayable within 6 months or within 3 years. There is simply no way of planning for that. There's no way of knowing when a player's legs will go. So I think the most likely thing is you spend big actually on a centre back, a centre mid, and a winger, and around that is then smaller even smaller pieces than 6 somewhat depth players. So I'm talking more like 3 players in the range of 500 to $1 million, plus maybe a few more $100,000 as the kind of the Hayes and the Lisbys, some of which of course end up being massive hits like Lisby has, rather than 6 players at 300 to 500.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you want to just go over that from Alex again? I'll pull it up quickly. Would that 7.5 million in wages include bonuses?
There's no way of knowing for certain, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does include stuff. Dara, I think, has been open before about saying that he structures contracts now with a lot of incentives. So the base salary for some of these players is actually relatively low, but if they score goals, they win games, keep clean sheets, and you would think go far in cup competitions, then there should be bonuses in there. Now, I would imagine this is the thing, right? You're comparing to a season last year where we made the playoffs. I would think that there would be a bigger incentive for making the playoffs than getting to the EFL Trophy final, but you never know. We'd be speculating.
Harry, do you want to just clarify for everyone else like you did for me earlier? Because I saw 725 grand in transfer fees, and I thought, well, that doesn't equate to being the biggest spenders in League One, as Darren McAntley has said. So do you want to explain why Darren could still be telling the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yeah. And yeah, let's not go down a rabbit hole of suggesting that DMAC lies about any of this stuff, because he fundamentally doesn't.
I was absolutely not, Harry. That's why I'm giving you a chance to clarify that he is telling the truth to our listeners.
I think you're perhaps referencing some people on Twitter who have suggested that. Yeah. Anyway, again, you can see the $750,000 in player spend because it's in the cash flow. So we will buy Harry Leonard for £1 million, but we'll probably have set up with Blackburn that we pay that in 4 installments, probably, or 3 installments of 250 a year or 330 a year. So it's still true to say that we're some of the biggest spenders in League One in a normal vocabulary sense, but obviously in an accounting sense, you're going to treat it differently if you're honing in on a single line in the cash flow. It's a good spot to be in, where not too much had to actually go out in fees, in hard money out the door. And given, I suppose this is one more thing, given how much you can see parked on the balance sheet for cash coming in, which is completely expected with EMC, Burrows and Fernandez as 3 recent big sales, maybe even Motherseal as well. The numbers maybe even better next year in terms of cash in from players.
Yeah, no, I think it was an important clarification, just literally because I saw it and I thought that seems very low. But when Harry explained it, I thought, oh, that's interesting. And actually, Harry's given me a lot of confidence that the work that's gone on, certainly financially behind the scenes, has been good. So I think the club like to sometimes think that we're negative about them, but I think actually we have Harry in particular has spoken very positively about them. And I think I echo the sentiments across the room that this is good. Well done. Very, very good financial control of the club from everybody involved.
Yeah, in a way that most club owners are not, at least not obviously. It's very obvious in our numbers how seriously they're taking the stuff that they should be taking seriously. But you know what? You say that I've been all positive. Actually, let's do the classic Up The Poshcast thing. We always have one criticism, right? Can we please professionalize the strategic report a little bit? We want to read in a strategic report about what's going on at a high level at the club and the strategy you guys are taking to then, and how you've implemented that and what success has come out of that. Now, there is some of that in the strategic report, but we don't need to know that Harley Mills was one of the goal scorers at Wembley. I mean, this is way too much detail. You're not building a strategy around Harley Mills scoring, are you? You're building a strategy around winning trophies and doing that through X, Y, Z. Anyway, that's my one criticism. Let's try and make the strategic report strategic.
Harry, I like that you said we want to read a professional strategic report. I think you can probably go with I want to read that. It's not a collective. It's you.
You are damn right.
Right, one final thing that's just come in from George Owens. He believes that our deal with Puma expires at the end of the season. Who would you like to see as the kit manufacturer for next season? First kit with a new crest. I'm going to be honest with you, George. I'll take this one. I think that we are going to stay in bed with Puma. I think that we have a fantastic relationship with them. If you think some of the kits that Harry mentioned, like commercial sales and retail sales and ticket sales, our kits over the last 4 years have pretty much always been bangers, even if they are like subject to a little bit of taste. But I think stick with Puma. We spoke about, and they put out in the presentation when they did the new badge release, that at the moment we were limited to how many different types of like badge type we can have on the kit. We've got this new crest coming in, and I think that's just going to open up all sorts of doors for the football club to be really out there, let's say, with their kits. And that Alex Harris likes to give me a little bit of a sneak info on the kits each year, and he's given me the nugget already. I can confirm that next season home kit will be blue. He has told me that. So, anybody that was worried that we might do anything massively wacky, the home kit will be blue next season. Although he hasn't confirmed what colour. And I wonder whether they did use that poll that Chris Payne put in his thing to go, what is the right colour blue? But who knows? I mean, you look at our background, we've got like 4 different coloured blues. So who knows?
I think, I'm with you. I quite like the Puma kits. I've bought all 3 for the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, that's good work, I suppose. I do like an Adidas number, though. I do really like it. Like an Adidas Originals away kit would be unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, wrong side. There we go. Look at that. That was a good kit, wasn't it? The one behind me. I think a nice little Adidas number. If we're not going to go with Puma, new badge, but old school effects through the like Originals design. Oh, yeah, that would be a bit of me.
I've been in club shops of other teams who have Adidas, and don't get me wrong, Posh has a great selection of stuff right now in our shop. It's good variety among different things you can buy, but the amount of Adidas specific merch I've seen at other clubs that use Adidas, spanning all sorts of different apparel, is incredible, and it looks so good. The tricolor looks so good. Or tri-stripe, whatever you call it. Sorry, not the French flag, the tricolor. What am I talking about? The tri-stripe looks great in so many different contexts.
Nice one, Harry. The tricolore. Put your French accent on with your oysters down your gob. And anyway, to go back to that point, just to finish before we go, the reason that people don't use Oyster cards anymore, Harry, is because there's this magical thing called Apple Pay, where you can just tap your phone. I
work in London, Ashley. You don't think I know this?
Yeah,
I was just trying to make a connection to the fact that it was London away days.
Yeah, just tap your phone, get your stickers out. That's what we should promote. We should promote FC stickers and everybody getting their stickers and seeing them all over London, because I'm sure that there'll be some dotted around on all the different routes. So if you ordered any stickers from FC Stickers, if you're a Leyton Orient fan listening to this, 80 minutes in, get onto FC Stickers, order some Leyton Orient stickers, and we'll see them all over the country, because they are the biggest sticker brand outside of Panini. Should we say that? Yeah, let's say that.
Let's say it. And they're only going to get bigger, Ash.
So I hear.
You'll be glad you did.
Right, let's get out of here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Sorry that I gate crashed you both, Harry, John. I was sat there in... You tried to keep it technical, Harry, that I was in the back office, but I was itching to get on because I just love hearing the sound of my own voice and seeing my face on this screen and being able to go and watch this now on my TV afterwards.
Given people don't care about your opinion, Ashley, I mean, it's surprising how much you want to talk.
It is pretty crazy, but when we set this podcast up, the idea was that there were 7 of us and we were just going to talk to each other. And if one person listened, or 7 people listened, or 2,000 people listened, it didn't really matter, did it? So, I enjoy sharing my opinion. Nobody needs to listen to it, do they? And if it's only their parents' opinion that they're bothered about, then so be it. I never claim to be a professional footballer. I don't claim that my opinion is perfect, but that's exactly what it is. Opinions are like arseholes, as DMAC would say. Everybody's got one, haven't they?
Exactly, mate. And at the end of the day, this isn't your day job. You still get paid at the end of the week from your day job, whatever you say on here. So,
yeah, fortunately, I am quite fortunate that I do have a boss that doesn't mind me running my mouth, daily on Twitter, weekly on a podcast, wherever the time and place may present to, back to people. Yeah, so it is what it is. I guess. Are we done? Thumbs up, Harry, after 10 seconds after I said
We're
it.
done.
Well, up the Poshcast then.
Up the Poshcast.
I'll still be here at 10 p.m. waiting for you to end the stream. No, I'm really
Harry, just say up the Poshcast.
Good night. Up the Poshcast.
Hey.